First, there was the light from a flashlight, theirs, not hers, and one heavy booted foot stepped through the large opening left after the top half was made to fold down. Jasmine didn't see much else because she had to duck down so as not to be seen by the beam from the flashlight, and she couldn't view anything else but the red brick on the outside of her building. Somewhere in the back of her mind, Jasmine was thanking herself for not accepting the plant stand that stood in front of the kitchen door in Twyla's apartment. At the time, Twyla offered it to her. Jasmine thought that she wanted the option of being able to open the door of her kitchen fully when frying fish or chicken, and thought she'd put the small terrace to use. Little did she know how important the small terrace would prove to her sheer survival. Jasmine allowed her thoughts to be almost fleeting at the moment, to try and outrun the panic that was trying to seize her and envelop her thoughts and movements and making her do something stupid, like only panic can do. She knew if she kept a cool, rational head, she might just get out of this situation alive. The thought of jumping down from the second floor had crossed her mind, but the thing was, even though the fall might not be that high, it was still a good 12 feet drop, and if she didn't maneuver it correctly, she could spear herself fatally on one of the metal spikes that lined the hedges in the back of the apartment building. They stood maybe 6 feet high and were supposed to be a deterrent to prowlers. What if the building were on fire? Maybe, she thought, if she just squatted here quietly, whoever it was would think she somehow escaped and leave. Then there was the serious matter of the fact that Jasmine was about to take a shower, and although she wore a robe, it was thin and the only thing concealing her nude body, and there was a cold chill in the March wind tonight. Persephone got up and tried the door this time. Where there was once fear, it now blossomed into impatience. It didn't surprise her when she found that the door was locked. She heard movement outside in the hallway and thought she could glimpse someone guarding the door from the view the small wire mesh window allowed. She wanted them to tell her what she had done and why she was being held here. There was no toilet, so it couldn't be a holding cell, but there were bars on the windows and a wooden chair. Persephone noted that the walls looked freshly painted, stark white. She noticed the water stains in two of the overhead ceiling tiles. This must be where the customs officials questioned the drug smugglers and terrorists, Persephone thought to herself. One was leading the way, and the other was following close behind them with her luggage cart. She guessed they left that outside, or maybe they took it somewhere to be searched. Persephone was crossing over to have a look out the window when she heard the sound of someone unlocking the door. A petite, plain looking blonde lady stepped in, dressed in the same ugly customs uniform, but not with the battle armor, Persephone noted. Hallo, my name is Frau Langer. Miss Jackson, how do you do? She extended a hand to Persephone and offered her a friendly smile. Persephone shook her hand slowly and mumbled a pleased to meet you, Frau Langer. Yeah, maybe you think to make trouble, but bitte, sorry, please. Not to worry. This we take. We take you here, our office here, from the sister by you, that someone want to take you. But not to worry, we get these men now. Frau Langer tried to explain the best way her English would allow. I don't understand. My sister wants me to wait here for her? Persephone tried to grasp the situation. My English, it no good. I want to say, All is okay, yeah? We have the people that try trouble Mitchell and we make them away in jail, yeah? Frau Linger tried to explain, which just confused Persephone even more. Where's my sister? Where's Jasmine? Persephone asked, almost pleadingly, knowing that Jasmine would be able to straighten this whole thing out. Sorry, aber that is what I tried to tell you, Frau Langer began with a troubled frown. Persephone looked at the stranger with an equally troubled frown, suddenly feeling sick to the stomach at what she'd feared this woman was going to say. Jasmine could hear him going through each room, trying her bedroom first, then stumping over to the guest bedroom and tossing some things around in there. If she panicked and tried to go for the front door while he rummaged in her room, he'd hear and catch her in the hallway for sure, and she'd have to pass right in his line of vision. For now, she was in the safest place she could imagine, still clinging to the hope that if she just made like a statue and kept perfectly still, he would eventually leave. Since there was no one here to be found, if she just crouched down and be very still the way she was positioned there, there was no way he could see her in the dark, not even if the kitchen light came on. She saw the beam from his light darting briefly on the dining room wall, then on the floor, then disappear again. He must be in the guest bedroom now, Jasmine surmised, as the wind whipped up a chilling breeze that made her numbing fingers have to dig down harder into her armpit, having laid down the knife and flashlight carefully at her feet in an attempt to cling to some small degree of warmth. The flashlight danced briefly at the hole in the front door as if the light was spotlighting some invisible person's interest. The light lingered there a few moments before heading for the kitchen, and that's when Jasmine tensed up even more, but still maintained her absolute statue like position. Her feet were positioned over to the very edge of this side of the knee high metal gated terrace. By her crouching down as much as she dared on the small platform, she was partially concealed from view by the kitchen stove. Jasmine could look right at him, and for one moment she thought he was shining the light right on the top of her head. But nothing happened, and the light darted off onto the kitchen cabinets. Then the wind whipped up another branch shaking breeze, enough to rustle the hedges below and make Jasmine's teeth want to chatter. She gritted her teeth and shut her eyes. He was still standing a few feet away in the kitchen. He'd even opened a few cabinets on the bottom before he returned towards the glass paneled kitchen door again with his flashlight beaming. At that same moment, the breeze that had just left kicked up and somehow found the hem to Jasmine's silk robe and made the back of the robe flare up like a flag and wave in the breeze. Jasmine tried to regroup herself and was caught by the beam of the flashlight. He pulled the paneled door open with such force that it slammed against the kitchen counter, and Jasmine heard glass breaking. Jasmine quickly got up and grabbed the knife and flashlight in a panic. She switched the flashlight on as he stepped towards the opening door and shined it directly in his face, causing him to put his hands over his eyes protectively.